The forest moon Tyrax 4 was quiet. Large silver-blue trees swayed gently under a pale sky. Birds with crystal-like feathers flew between the branches, and strange animal calls echoed softly high above the treetops. A loud sound suddenly broke. The calm. A burning object shot across the sky, leaving smoke behind. It was a crashing Earth escape pod, spinning wildly, heading straight for the dense jungle below. Moments later, the pod slammed into the ground with a loud boom, breaking branches and burning leaves. Steam hissed from its broken sides. Inside, a teenage human named Jace Carter slowly opened his eyes. He groaned and sat up, touching the side of his head where blood had dried. His spacesuit was torn, and his small pack was half burned. But he was alive. Ship's gone, he whispered to himself. Everyone else may be gone too. He was part of a junior science crew from Earth on a deep space research mission. Their ship had been hit by a rogue asteroid. He remembered alarms, people yelling, and being pushed into the escape pod. After that, everything was darkness. JACE. Climbed out of the pod and looked around. The forest was huge, glowing slightly under the twin suns. He checked his scanner. No human signals nearby. I'm alone, he muttered, trying to stay calm. Just need water, shelter. He didn't know it, but he wasn't alone. Not far away. Princess Sela Virel, of the Virelian Empire, was watching the smoke in the sky. She stood on a high ridge, her sharp purple eyes focused. She wore a black battle robe with silver edges, and beside her walked a massive creature with dark scales and red eyes, a beast called a Varnak. This Varnak was not a normal animal. It was bred in Virelian labs to hunt, to obey, and to kill. And this one belonged only to her. Scylla turned to the Varnak. We investigate. If it's dangerous, you destroy it. The creature gave a low growl and nodded, understanding her command. They moved fast through the forest. Soon, they found the crashed pod. Scylla raised a hand in motion for her guards to stay back. Jace, hearing the rustle of leaves, turned around and froze. Out of the trees stepped a tall alien girl with glowing skin and long silver hair. Behind her came the beast, huge, growling, its claws sinking into the soil. Jace took a step back, his heart pounding. Scylla looked at him with disgust. A human, weak, lost, and in my forest. She raised her arm and spoke sharply in Virelian. Tongue Varnak, eliminate the threat. The beast roared and stepped forward. Jace stood frozen, knowing he could not run. But then something strange happened. The Varnak stopped. Its head tilted slightly, stared at Jace. Then instead of attacking, it walked forward slowly and sat down right in front of him. Scylla's eyes widened. What? Jace blinked, confused. What's going on? He reached out very slowly and touched the beast's nose. The Varnak closed its eyes and gave a soft purring sound like a giant cat. Scylla stepped forward, furious. Varnak, I gave you an order. The creature did not move. It even growled slightly at her. Scylla's guards raised their weapons, but she waved them off. Her face was full of confusion and anger. This is impossible, she whispered. JACE. Still unsure what was happening, looked up. I don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. Scylla's voice was cold. That beast obeys no one but me. You are a human, a species we study, not respect. And yet, she took a step closer. You did something. What are you? I'm just a student, Jace said quickly. A junior scientist. I don't even like fighting. Silence, Scylla snapped. She studied him again, then finally spoke. Take him. Her guards stepped forward to arrest Jace, but the Varnak growled again, standing protectively in front of him. The guards paused, unsure. Scylla frowned. Very well. Let the creature follow. But if the human tries to escape, kill him. Jace looked at the beast, then at Scylla. Can I at least know what's going on? You are in Virelian territory now, she said coldly. And somehow, you've taken control of my most dangerous creature. You'll answer for that. But first, we find out why. As the group moved through the jungle, Jace walked beside the Varnak, who stayed close like a loyal dog. Behind them, Princess Scylla watched silently. She had never been challenged like this before, and for the first time in her life she was afraid. Jace Carter walked carefully through the strange alien forest surrounded by tall soldiers with glowing weapons. But the real surprise was still beside him, the massive Varnak. The beast walked quietly next to him like a trained animal, calm and peaceful. Ahead of them, Princess Scylla Varel walked in silence. Her sharp silver eyes kept watching Jace through the corner of her vision. Wait! Her mind raced with questions. The Varnak was not just any beast. It was a war creature, bred from the DNA of deadly predators across 5 planets. It followed only its master. That was the law of its blood. And yet now, it followed a human. Scylla clenched her fists. This should not be possible. Jace didn't understand what was happening. He kept glancing at the beast beside him, still unsure if it was real or a dream. He looked up at one of the guards walking beside him. What is this thing called again? The guard said nothing. Jace tried again. It's not going to. Eat me, right? Still no answer. Finally, Scylla spoke. Its name is Varnak, a beast created for battle. It is loyal to only one master. Me. Jace looked at the creature. Well, he's kind of chill with me. The Varnak gave a soft grunt and bumped its head gently against Jace's arm. Scylla stopped walking and turned around. Her voice was cold. Do not mistake its behavior for kindness. That creature has crushed bones and torn armor with one strike. It is not your pet. I never said it was, Jace said quickly. But it's acting nice. That's all. Of the guards stepped forward. Princess, perhaps we should sedate the creature and remove the human. It's dangerous to let them stay together. No, Scylla said, eyes narrowed. Let them walk. I want to see how long this strange behavior lasts. They reached the Varelian camp, a set of sharp metal towers built into the jungle. It was clean, cold, and full of technology. Flying drones hovered above them, scanning for threats. As they entered, Varelian scientists and soldiers stopped and stared. Everyone saw the same thing. The royal predator walking peacefully next to a human boy. Scylla led them into a tall lab tower made of black stone and silver panels. Inside was a glowing exam table and walls covered in screens. A Varelian scientist, with bright green eyes, approached her. My princess, the scientist said, bowing. We heard rumors. But they are true, Scylla interrupted. Run a full scan on the human. Blood, brain, DNA. I want to know what he is. Jace raised his hands nervously. Wait, can we talk about this first? Scylla turned to him. Maybe harmless, but you've done something we've never seen before. Until we understand it, you are a risk. I didn't do anything, Jace said. I was just trying not to die. Exactly, she said. And yet the beast did not kill you. It followed you. It protected you. The Varnak stood near Jace, growling softly when the scientist tried to pull him away. Scylla narrowed her eyes. Again, unbelievable. Jace sighed and sat on the exam table. Fine, scan away. But if that thing gets mad, it's on you. The scans began. Machines buzzed. Screens lit up. Blue lights covered Jace's body. Varelian doctors watched the results carefully. After an hour, Scylla returned to the lab. Report. The lead scientist bowed. You found something strange, Princess. Speak. The human sent markers, his brainwaves, create a calming effect on genetically enhanced predators. Scylla raised an eyebrow. Explain. We believe it is something in human biology, something rare. The Varnak's brain is reacting to him as if he is part of its own pack. Enemy. A friend. Scylla stared at the human. That is not possible. And yet it is happening. Jace shrugged. So I smell good to monsters. Cool. Scylla ignored his comment. What about other creatures? Does this effect happen with them too? We believe so, the scientist replied. But it must be tested. Scylla thought for a moment, then made a decision.
Bring the other subjects.
I want to see this with my own eyes. Later that day, Jace was taken to a wide-open chamber filled with clear energy walls. Inside the walls were other deadly beasts, Varelian hunting spiders, poison-winged birds, a three-headed shadow wolf. All were dangerous. "Are you trying to scare me?" Jace asked. "No," Scylla said calmly. "I'm testing you." The guards opened the first wall. A large lizard beast stepped out. It roared and stomped toward Jace. He froze. But then, it slowed down. The lizard sniffed the air. Its eyes softened. Then it sat down in front of him like a puppy. Scylla's lips parted slightly in shock. One by one, the other beasts were released. One by one, they approached the human. And every time, same thing happened. They did not attack. They became calm. They followed him. They trusted him. Scylla watched, arms crossed, saying nothing. Her face was unreadable. Jace finally turned to her. "So what now?" Scylla looked at her Varnock, sitting beside him like a loyal pet, and then back at Jace. "Now, I study you." The next morning, Jace Carter woke up in a silver room inside the Varelian Science Tower. The walls were smooth, glowing faintly. The bed was soft, but he couldn't sleep well. Too many things were on his mind. He sat up and looked. Beside him, on the floor like a giant guardian, lay the Varnock, peacefully sleeping. The beast's eyes opened as Jace moved, raised its head and made a soft sound, something between a purr and a growl. Jace smiled a little. "Morning, Bruno." He had secretly given the Varnock a name. Bruno sounded better than Varnock, especially since the creature acted like a big, scary dog that had chosen him as a best friend. There was a quiet beep, and the door slid open. Princess Scylla Varel entered, standing tall and proud, wearing a dark blue cloak lined with silver. Behind her walked two scientists, both holding glowing tablets. "Human," Scylla said. "We have results." Jace stood up quickly. "Okay, do I have superpowers or something?" Scylla didn't smile. "You have something. Something we don't fully understand yet." One of the scientists stepped forward. "We tested your DNA against hundreds of samples from both Earth and alien species. We studied your brain patterns, your scent signals, and your heart rhythm when near dangerous animals." "And?" Jace asked. The scientist looked impressed. "All signs show that your body gives off a rare signal, something close to what we call a trust trigger. It lowers the fear level in predator-class creatures. It makes them calm," Scylla continued, her voice serious. "This should not be possible. These beasts were designed to obey only us with command chips and mental controls. But you have no control device." Jace rubbed his neck. "So ... I'm a walking pet whisperer." The other scientist nodded. "Something like that. It's not just with Varnics. You affect multiple species. Beasts that would kill most aliens on sight respond to you with peace." Jace looked down at Bruno. The creature sat close to him, its red eyes soft, not wild. "Maybe they just like me because I'm not trying to control them," Jace said. Scylla blinked. "Explain." "I don't yell at them. I don't use machines or commands. I just treat them like living things. I show respect." The scientists exchanged looks. One whispered, "Could it be emotional response?" Scylla stepped closer. "We don't show weakness to beasts. Respect does not make killers. Obey." "It's not weakness," Jace replied. "It's trust." There was a short silence. Then Scylla turned to her scientists. "Run simulations. Test other humans with this DNA structure. I want to know if this is rare or if all humans can do it." "Yes, Princess," they replied, bowing slightly. Later, Scylla brought Jace to another lab. It's one filled with holograms and memory data from Varelian military history. She pointed to the image of a Varnak tearing through armored robots. "This is what Varniks are made for: war, destruction." Jace looked at the beast beside him, who was licking his arm gently. "Yeah, he doesn't seem like that right now." Scylla sighed and crossed her arms. "This changes things. If humans can connect with war beasts like this, your species is more dangerous than we believed." Jace frowned. "I'm not dangerous. I just want to go home." "You say that," she said, turning toward him. "But if your kind learns to control creatures like Varniks, you could rule entire planets. Even our armies may not stop you. I didn't control him, Jace replied. He chose me. That matters, doesn't it? Scylla looked at Bruno again. Her voice became quieter. Varniks don't choose. Word about the human in the Varnock began to spread through the Varelian camp. Soldiers whispered behind their masks. Scientists requested to see Jace in person. Even other nobles sent messages to Scylla, asking if the rumors were true. One night, as the stars shone over Tyrax 4, Jace sat alone near the edge of the jungle, watching glowing bugs dance in the air. Bruno lay beside him, resting but alert. Scylla approached quietly and sat down a few feet away. Neither spoke for a moment. Finally, Scylla said, "You are not what I expected from a human." "Let me guess," Jace smiled. "You thought I'd be loud and dangerous?" "Yes," she said honestly. "But you are calm. You speak with care. That is not weakness. That is unusual." Jace looked up at the stars. "Back on Earth, I always felt small, like it didn't matter. But out here, everything's different." Scylla nodded slowly. "Out here, the small can shape the galaxy." They sat in silence again. The jungle sounds echoed softly. Far in the trees, an alien bird sang a haunting melody. Then Scylla spoke again. "The High Council will want to meet you. But not all of them are like me. Some will fear you." "I didn't ask for this," Jace said. "I just want to survive." "You may need more than survival soon," Scylla replied. "You may need allies." Sleep. Tomorrow, we go to the capital. There, your real test begins. Jace watched her walk away, her cloak fluttering in the night wind. Beside him, Bruno made a soft sound, as if sensing something ahead, something big. Jace looked up at the stars again, a human boy, an alien princess, and a war beast that had chosen peace. The galaxy would never be the same again. The next morning, a silver transport ship lifted off from the jungle floor of Tyrax 4. Inside the ship, Jace Carter sat quietly near a large window, watching the thick forests disappear below. His companion, the large Varnock named Bruno, sat beside him, calm and still. Across from him sat Princess Scylla Varel, arms crossed, her sharp purple eyes focused on him. Round them stood 4 armed Varelian guards and 2 scientists. The atmosphere was quiet but tense. Jack broke the silence. "So where exactly are we going?" "To the research dome," Scylla answered. "Far from the capital, but still under protection. I want to study you more, without council interference." Jace raised an eyebrow. "That sounds comforting." "You'll be safe," she added, looking at Bruno, "as long as he behaves." "He's better than most people I know," Jace said, petting the beast's head. Bruno gave a soft growl of happiness. Scylla looked at the scene and felt a strange mix of emotions, fear, curiosity, and something else she couldn't name. In her entire life, no beast had ever looked at her with that kind of gentle loyalty. Not even the one she had raised from a cub. The research dome was built inside a canyon surrounded by cliffs, protected by energy shields and guard towers. It looked like a glowing white bubble set in stone. Inside were huge testing chambers, labs, and observation decks. As they entered, Scylla spoke to her scientists. "Prepare the testing environment. Begin with low-level predators." Jace looked worried. "You're not going to throw me into a cage, right?" "No," she replied calmly. "But I want to see how far your effect goes. We need to understand how you do what you do." A few hours later, Jace stood in a large, clear chamber with a soft floor and energy walls. Several cameras were pointed at him. In the observation room above, Scylla and the scientists watched closely. The first creature was released, a Torvik's hound, a fast, 2-legged beast with black skin and sharp claws. It ran toward Jace's teeth bared. Jace held still. Wait. He didn't raise his hands or run. Instead, he knelt down slowly and whispered, "It's okay. I'm not your enemy." The hound stopped. It sniffed the air, then walked closer, circling him. After a few seconds, it sat in front of him. Calm. Obedient. The scientist murmured in surprise. Scylla's expression remained serious, but her fingers tapped the control desk slowly. Next one. The tests continued. Each time, a new dangerous creature was brought in. Each time, Jace stood still, spoke softly, and made no threat. And each time, the creature responded with calm behavior. A winged razor beast curled beside him like a kitten. Spike-backed crawler let him touch its armored shell. Stormbird with lightning feathers perched on his shoulder without attacking. From above, Scylla whispered, "It's not just science. It's instinct." After several tests, Jace sat in the waiting room, drinking water. He was tired, but not afraid. Scylla entered the room and stood in front of him. "You surprised me again?" Jace smiled weakly. "Thanks, I think." She sat across from him. For the first time, her tone was softer. "I've trained with beasts my whole life. I thought I understood them, but you're doing something we can't explain." "I'm not special," Jace said. "Back on Earth, I just liked animals. I read books, watched them in nature. I never forced them to do anything. I'd let them come to me." Scylla studied his face. "You act like prey, yet beasts follow you like a leader." Jace looked at Bruno, who was now curled near the doorway. Real leadership isn't about power, it's about trust." Scylla's expression changed for a moment, then she stood. "There is one more test." Jace blinked. "More? I thought we were done." "This one is different," she said. "It involves another Varnock. A young one, just bred. Never trained." Jace looked at her. "You think it'll attack?" "I don't know," she answered. "That's why I need to see it." That evening, they entered a deep underground chamber. Inside was a cage holding a young Varnock, smaller than Bruno but full of energy. It paced back and forth, growling and clawing at the walls. Its red eyes glowed with untamed rage. Jace hesitated. "You're serious about this?" "I need to know," Scylla said firmly. "If your connection works, even with a creature that's never seen a master." Jace took a deep breath. He stepped into the cage slowly. The young Varnock turned sharply and roared, running toward him. Scylla watched. Tense. Jace closed his eyes and spoke softly. "Easy. I'm not here to hurt you." The young Varnock stopped inches away from him. It sniffed the air, teeth bared. Jace opened his eyes and met its gaze. "You're not alone, I see you." The creature blinked. Its growl softened, and then it lowered its head. From the shadows, Bruno growled gently, as if speaking to the younger one. The two creatures looked at each other. Then the young Varnock sat down beside Jace, just like Bruno once had. Scylla stared in disbelief. "Impossible," Jace turned toward her. "I didn't control it. It just listened." She nodded slowly. "You've passed every test, and now I know something." "What's that?" "You're not a threat," she said. "You're a key, new kind of connection between species, something the Varelians never imagined." Jace looked down at the young Varnock, now nuzzling his hand. "It sounds like a lot of responsibility." "It is," Scylla said, "and not everyone will accept it." That night, as Jace sat in his room with Bruno sleeping beside him, he stared out the window. He had come to this world by accident, but now he was part of something bigger. Something that could change the future, and deep in the stars above, unknown eyes were already watching. Dark clouds covered the sky above the Varelian Research Dome. Inside, Jace Carter sat in a quiet hallway with Bruno lying beside him. The large Varnock rested its heavy head on Jace's feet, calm and relaxed. But Jace wasn't relaxed. He felt something strange in the air. Tension, fear, like a storm was coming. "Princess." Lavirel entered the hallway quickly. Her eyes, usually calm and sharp, now showed a hint of worry. "They know," she said, without wasting time. Jace stood up. "Who knows?" "The Varelian High Council," she replied. "Someone from the dome sent them a report. They know what you did. How the creatures respond to you." Jace looked confused. "Isn't that good? Won't they want to study it like you?" Scylla shook her head. "No, the council fears what they don't control. And you, Jace, you can't be controlled." Jace felt a chill in his chest. So, what does that mean? It means they'll come here, she said quietly. And their orders will be clear. You must be silenced. Bruno growled softly, sensing the danger in her voice. Jace took a deep breath. So what do we do? Scylla looked at him seriously. We run. Late that night, alarms echoed through the dome. Red lights flashed. Doors sealed shut. Automated voices shouted warnings in both Varelian and English. Emergency lockdown. All personnel remain in place. Inside the lab, guards rushed toward the main chambers, weapons ready. Ships from the capital had landed nearby. Black and gold vessels marked with the High Council's seal. But Jace and Scylla were already moving. They rushed through back tunnels under the dome, guided by Scylla's private security codes. Bruno padded beside them, quiet and alert. Jace carried only a small bag with basic supplies. Where are we going? He asked. There's a hidden landing pad in the cliffs, Scylla replied. My personal skimmer is there. We escape into the outer jungles. The council won't follow us that deep. They reached a metal door at the end of the tunnel. Scylla scanned her wrist over the lock. The door opened. But as they stepped out, 3 soldiers in black armor stood waiting. Princess Scylla, one of them said. By council order, hand over the human. Scylla narrowed her eyes. Stand down. I'm sorry, the soldier said, but this is above your command. Bruno growled deeply. The soldiers raised their weapons. Wait, Jace said. Don't, but the soldiers fired. Bruno leapt forward with terrifying speed. In seconds, 2 of the guards were knocked to the ground, weapons flying. The third tried to run, but Scylla's stun blast hit him first. Silence followed. Jace looked at Bruno, who stood still, watching him for approval. Jace nodded. Good boy. Scylla didn't. Smile. We need to go now. They reached the skimmer, a sleek, fast ship built for stealth. Scylla jumped into the pilot seat while Jace and Bruno took the back. The ship lifted silently and vanished into the clouds. Below them, council soldiers searched the dome. The targets were gone. They flew for hours, far from the cities and towers of the Varelian world. The jungle below grew thicker and wilder. Huge trees and glowing plants covered the land. Strange animals moved under the green shadows. Scylla finally landed the skimmer near a quiet waterfall. A small cave behind the water would serve as shelter. Jace stepped out and took a deep breath. This place is amazing. It's dangerous. Too, Scylla said, but the council won't find us here. Bruno sniffed the air, then laid down near the cave entrance like a silent guardian. Inside the cave, they lit a soft lamp. Jace sat on a rock, thinking, Why are they so scared? He asked quietly. I didn't hurt anyone, just made friends with some animals. It's not about harm, Scylla replied. It's about control. You showed them that there is another way. One they can't predict. Jace looked at her. Why are you helping me? Scylla paused, and she said, Because I was wrong about humans. I thought your kind was weak, chaotic. But you showed strength through peace. You didn't force the Varnock. You earned him. Bruno let out a deep breath, as if agreeing. Jace smiled a little. I didn't mean to cause all this trouble. Scylla looked out at the dark jungle. Sometimes change begins with trouble. The next few days they stayed hidden. Jace explored the jungle with Bruno, always careful and respectful. Animals watched him but never attacked. He moved like part of the forest. Scylla watched him from a distance. She took notes, recorded behaviors, and studied every moment. And slowly, her view of him and of humans changed. One night as they sat near the fire, she spoke again. I once believed control was the only way to survive, that we had to. Command beasts, rule planets, and show power to keep peace. But now I see something different. Jace looked up. What do you see? Yes. Scylla answered softly. A world where strength is not fear. Where beasts choose kindness. Where humans, even a young one, can show us another path. Jace smiled, but there was still worry in his heart. What happens when the council finds us again? He asked. Scylla's eyes became sharp again. Then we make them see what I've seen. And if they refuse, we stand our ground. Bruno stood up and let out a strong, proud roar into the night sky. The sound echoed through the trees like a promise, a warning. Jace looked at the stars. He was no longer just a lost human. He was something more, and soon the galaxy would know. The bright halls of the Varelian High Council gleamed under soft white lights. Tall windows showed the purple skies of Tyrax 4. Inside, the room was filled with serious faces. The most powerful leaders of the Varelian Empire. At the center stood Princess Scylla Varel. Her dark cloak swept the floor. Next to her stood Jace Carter, the young human who had challenged everything they knew. The council chamber was silent as the High Chancellor began to speak. Princess Scylla, you bring before us a human who has baffled our scientists and threatened our control over our war beasts. Explain. Scylla took a deep breath. This human does not seek power through violence. He forms bonds with creatures bred for war. He commands no machines, yet beasts obey him. His presence calms them. He is not our enemy. He could be our greatest ally. A murmur spread through the council members. One counselor, tall and sharp-eyed, stood. Your Highness, this is dangerous. A human influencing our weapons is a threat to our security. What if he turns our beasts against us? Another counselor added, our laws are clear.
Oh, mate.
No alien may command our military creatures. This human must be removed. Scylla's eyes flashed with anger. He has done no harm. The beasts follow him by choice, not by force. The High Chancellor raised a hand. Enough. We'll test this human's abilities before making a final decision. But understand this. If he is a threat, he will be eliminated. Jace swallowed. Hard but nodded. He knew the stakes were high. The testing began the next day. Jace was led to a large open arena inside the council building. The floor was smooth, and energy shields surrounded it. One by one, the council released different war beasts into the arena. Varnex, shadow wolves, razorbirds, all fierce and dangerous. The beasts charged at Jace, but he stood calm. He lowered. His hands spoke softly and moved slowly. Each beast slowed. Their growls softened. They circled him, but did not attack. The council watched in stunned silence. When the last creature sat quietly at his feet, the High Chancellor spoke. It appears this human truly has a unique bond. Scylla stepped forward. This is proof that cooperation is stronger than control. You can learn from him. But not all council members agreed. During the private meeting that followed, a group of counselors demanded Jace's immediate removal. We cannot risk his power spreading, one said. He undermines our authority. Scylla stood firm. Cannot deny the truth. This is a new path for our empire. Another counselor sneered. You're blinded by sentiment. The council will decide his fate. Tension grew. Days later, Jace was summoned again. This time, the chamber was filled with soldiers and guards. The High Chancellor announced, we have reached a verdict. Jace Carter, you are a being of interest to the Varelian Empire. You will be free to live under observation. However, your influence over our beasts will be studied carefully. Jace breathed a sigh of relief. Scylla smiled softly. You have passed the trial. But then, the Chancellor's voice grew cold. Any attempt to use your power to harm the Empire will result in immediate termination. Jace nodded, understanding the warning. Outside the chamber, Scylla approached Jace. Your freedom comes with conditions, she said. You will help us understand your bond with the creatures. I'm ready, Jace replied. I want to help. Scylla looked at Bruno, who stood loyally beside them. This is just the beginning, she said. Together, we will change our world. In the days that followed, Jace began working with Varelian scientists. He taught them how to respect animals, how to communicate gently. The scientists recorded every moment, amazed at the results. Beasts once feared began showing calm behavior near Jace and other humans. Scylla and Jace spent hours discussing plans for a new alliance between species. The Varelian Empire was changing. 1. Evening, as Jace watched the sunset from a balcony, Sela joined him. "Do you miss Earth?" she asked softly. Jace nodded. "Sometimes, but I feel like I belong here now." Sela smiled. "You have found your place." They looked at the stars, knowing the future held challenges, but also hope. Weeks had passed since Jace Carter stood before the Varelian High Council now. He lived inside the central city of Velmora Prime, surrounded by giant towers, glowing roads, and a strange new culture. Yet he never walked alone. Beside him, the great beast Bruno always stayed calm, loyal, and proud. The same creature, once trained to destroy, was now a peaceful guardian. Every day, Jace helped Varelian scientists and beast handlers. He showed them how to connect with creatures not through force or commands, but through patience, trust, and kindness. Even skeptical guards began to notice the difference. Beasts once locked in cages now moved freely in large green domes. Soldiers trained beside them, not over them. It was a slow change, but it was real. One day, Jace taught a group of young Varelian cadets how to approach a razor beast. Princess Scylla Varel arrived. She watched silently as the beast, known for its sharp feathers and fast temper, gently let a cadet place a hand on its head. Scylla stepped forward. "You've done more than we expected," Jace smiled. "I just showed them how to listen." She nodded. "The council is watching closely. Some still fear you, but more are beginning to understand." Jace looked at her seriously. "Then we keep going. One beast at a time." Later that evening, Scylla invited Jace to the Grand Tower, a place only royals and top officials could enter. Inside, glowing walls displayed ancient Varelian history. There were statues of warriors, queens, scientists, and one giant wall left blank. "This wall," Scylla said, "is for those who shape the future." Jace raised an eyebrow. "And why bring me here?" "Because," Scylla said slowly, "some believe you've already earned your place." Jace looked at her in surprise. "I'm just a human who crash-landed in your forest." "No," she said firmly. "You're the one who changed the heart of our most dangerous creature. Without any weapons?" "Without fear." He was quiet for a moment, then asked, "Do you really think we can build peace like this?" Scylla stepped closer. "I think it's the only way forward." But not everyone agreed. Far from the city, in a cold mountain chamber, a group of powerful Varelians gathered in secret. "He is a human," one of them hissed. "And now he walks freely in our halls, among our beasts, weakens our control," another growled. "If our weapons become friends with humans, what will stop Earth from rising against us?" "Hey," a third voice spoke calmly, but with sharpness. "The council made a mistake. The princess has gone soft. It's time we fix it." Their plan was clear. Remove Jace. Silence Scylla. Restore the old ways. The attack came quickly, just before sunrise. Explosions shook the outer training grounds. Guards rushed to respond, but hidden drones rained down from the sky. Scylla was in the central lab when the alarm sounded. "Protect the students," she shouted to the soldiers. Jace, who was in the Beast Dome, helped guide cadets and handlers to safety. Bruno ran beside him, roaring to scare away flying attackers. Suddenly, a powerful blast hit the side of the dome. A dark smoke filled the room. From it, 5 armored figures stepped out. Elite rebels from the secret group. Their leader pointed. "Take the human. Kill the beast if it resists." Bruno growled deeply. Jace stood behind him, heart racing. "You don't have to do this." The rebels did not listen. They opened fire. Bruno leaped forward like lightning, blocking the blasts with his armored body. Slammed into the attackers, knocking 2 down instantly. Jace ran to the side, helping. A cadet escaped the fire, but one rebel aimed a sharp blade at him just as the blade flew forward. A blast of violet energy knocked it aside. Scylla had arrived, with a small team of loyal guards. She fought back, her energy blade moving fast and sharp. The rebels were skilled, but not ready for a united force. Within minutes, were captured or driven off. The city calmed as emergency lights faded. The damage was serious, but the people were safe. Jace stood beside Bruno, checking the beast's wounds. They were shallow, but it still worried him. "You saved me again," he whispered. Bruno licked his hand and made a soft sound, not of pain, but of comfort. Scylla approached, her eyes heavy but strong. The attack was meant to scare us. But it failed. Jace looked up. "What happens now?" "We go to the council," she said. "No more hiding. No more testing. They must hear the truth from all of us." The next day, the High Council gathered again, this time not in secret. Citizens watched from high balconies. News screens across the Empire showed the event live. Scylla stood at the center, beside Jace and Bruno. She spoke clearly. "You have seen what fear brings: rebellion, attack, destruction. But you have also seen what trust creates." She pointed to Jace. "This human brought peace to our war beasts. He risked his life to save ours. And now I ask not just for his freedom, but for a new path forward." Jace stepped up, nervous but brave. "I didn't come here to fight," he said. "I didn't want power. I just wanted to survive. But now I want to help." Looked around. "If humans and Varelians can learn from each other, maybe we can stop using fear to control. Maybe we can build something better." A deep silence followed. Then the High Chancellor stood. "This empire was built on strength," he said. "But today we see a new kind of strength. Not from weapons, but from heart." He turned to Jace. "You will not be studied anymore. You will be honored." From that day, the Varelian Empire began to change. New schools taught peaceful beast training. Jace and Scylla created a program for unity between alien species. Bruno became a symbol of hope. And in the capital, the once empty wall in the tower was no longer blank. It showed a young human, standing beside a fierce creature, not as master and weapon, but as friends. A reminder that peace is possible, even in the wildest parts of the galaxy.